This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. We are the Nerd Corporation.
What up, everybody? It's Thursday. You know what that means.
In reality, I have to be ready for work tomorrow. Ugh.
Gross.
Ready for the new week, my friend.
Blech.
Yucky. There's this saying, and I don't know if it's like a whole Latin saying or if it's like Mexican or like a certain
sure.
region. But the term is wakala. And it just means like yuck, gross.
Wakala forever.
Sounds like that's what the villagers in RE4 would say instead of Matalo.
Wakala.
Wakala.
Like, ew, look at that white American.
And the women go, Wakala.
No, it's podcast day.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, it's podcast day.
Part of me knew that.
Right?
deep down, somewhere deep down.
Yeah.
You had an inkling. My name is Eddie Lyon, and I'm gonna need y'all to go to the Nutter Butter TikTok page right this instant. Don't ask questions. Just go there and talk to me later. With me, as always, is Derek Reese.
Wench, trollop, you buck-toothed mop-riding firefly from hell.
Cole Simper.
Hold
Are you
on.
on there? Are you on there now? Is that where you're...
That's for the
is-
audience, Cole, not us.
I know. It was kind of assaulting at first, but I was thinking of trying to remember exactly what this guy says because he's one of the funniest fucking people on TikTok. But he says, you see the wrist? You see the wrist? That's right. The rich stay rich and the poor stay where they're supposed to be. Buckingham Palace sends the regards.
I know which guy you're talking about. The guy that's like bald here, and he's got.
There
like
was another
hair.
one that I like. Yeah, like I couldn't remember exactly what he says, but he's like as nonchalant and as white as possible. He's like, I'm not afraid to slide on an op.
Yeah. Yeah. And Nick Lewis.
I kick ass for the Lord.
And we are the Nerd Corporation. Welcome to episode 201. Spooky, Scary Skeletons, our top 5 scary movies. We're going to forego nerd news and we're just going to get right into it. These are a compilation of 5 of our favorite scary, spooky movies, and I mean that covers the whole spectrum from the
Now-
cheesy to like the
Were we so like I couldn't pick or I couldn't rank them. Like
Dude,
Okay.
I
They
did
don't
the
have to
same
be in any
thing.
order.
I
Mine's in
just-
order.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
mine
don't
is in
have a
order, but-
particular order. It's just like they're
Yeah.
all too good.
Mine's
Yeah, and of course,
mine's just my favorite 5 movies that I could think of.
yeah, that's totally cool. Mine are in order. Cole said his were in order. They don't have to be in any
They
particular
don't have
order.
to be. No, not at all.
Plus, of course, we have our honorable mentions in the end and all that stuff. But strap in. Let's go. Let's start with Nick. You're number 5.
Did he say strap in or strap on?
Whatever.
That's
Oh.
what
Whatever
I was
makes
just
you-
thinking. Like, let's just start saying strap on instead of strap in and
So
see if
strap on.
anybody's like,
Strap on and
on.
enjoy the ride.
yeah.
Strap
Nick-
on and open up that asshole. The first one I have on the list is Saw, the first Saw.
Nice.
Just iconic
Perfect.
movie that was meant to be just a low budget one off, and now there's like what fucking 11 of them.
Yeah, there's like 50 of them. Like,
Yeah, but Saw was so good. Um, we got I think one of the guys that had to do with making the movie was the main character opposite Carrie Elwes. Yeah, Lee Wannell. I think he was the writer with James Wan for Saw.
oh,
Yep.
okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And there's just so many classic scenes in that movie, the sawing off the foot, and there's so many like parodies of Saw in media. Like I can't remember which scary movie it is, but there's one where like Shaq and Dr. Phil are locked in the room. And I
Yeah,
can't remember. I think Shaq tries to saw his foot off, and he's like, "Uh oh." Or Dr. Phil tries to saw his foot off, and he's like, "I sawed off the wrong foot," and he just passes out.
Oh, great.
you know, those movies are really bad. Like really, really not good at all. But
Mm-mm.
they are fucking funny. They
Well, I
have
mean, and
some
they're so
fucking
iconic.
Dude, three of my movies are just not good, but they're my favorite. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'll tell
yeah.
you right now. I'll tell you right now. Um, but yeah, and of course, like the absolutely iconic twist at the end of Saw. Spoiler alert: Jigsaw's alive in the room. But
Get
you know,
fucked.
just when he finally realizes it, and you just see him Jigsaw just like stand up, and the da-na-na, that music's playing. It's just
Yeah.
the perfect fucking combination of just like holy shit, and then the door just closes, and like that's it. Like that's
You're missing the key part. He says game over
yeah,
and then slams the shit.
that's true.
I only say that because they've literally brought that back for every single fucking Saw movie.
Yeah.
He literally has to say game over and slam something. Like it's super important.
And yeah, last year I watched all of them like in the course of like last October, in the course of a month, and there are some that are much better than others. I think is it Saw 3, 2 or 3 where they're in like the abandoned hotel with the syringes?
That's two, I think.
Is that 2?
When she
Yeah.
like falls into the pit of yeah, they're those movies like you can say what you want about them because I do have like gripes with Saws like in general. It's mostly the fact that it's just like we're still getting those movies. It's like holy fuck, guys! It's
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
Come on, move on. Like, and it's
I
not
feel-
because they're it's a franchise and whatever. And I get it. That's just me being picky as shit. But the one thing that these movies do like extraordinarily well is the gross out factor. The like
Oh yeah, yeah.
the squirm in your fucking seat because it's like oh god, like the one that I can't help but think about is the one that they put the hand up in like the box and you can't come down because if you do it'll slice the shit out of your
Yeah.
like because there's like glass shards.
I
There's
think
just
that's
like
I
there's
think
a
that's
certain
part
level of
2
like
too.
what's that say?
Oh, sorry. I think that's in 2 also because I remember like the drug addict chick like is like stuck in there with both of her hands in the boxes at the end.
Yeah. The first three are really good. And then after that, like 4 and on, they have like moments. They have like set piece moments that are like, oh, that's kind of cool that that's from 5 or that's from 7. But like watch it on YouTube. You don't have to watch like the whole
Right.
2-hour movie.
And
I never got into
in one
those.
of the earlier ones, I want to say it's 4 or 5. Like Jigsaw is like dying,
Bro, he
and
dies in like 4 of them.
and we still have like 6 saws after that. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you? I don't know.
So what was you just couldn't get past the gross out or what?
No, like I dug the first two, 3 of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
then
think that's
after
pretty
the-
much when I fell off, like the second or third one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just couldn't be bothered with watching the rest of them. Like
Bro,
I
I
was
mean,
just like,
those
yeah.
are the only ones you really like. I would recommend watching, but like if you, I mean, I watched all of them except for, I think there was the there's one coming out. I guess they're making another fucking Saw, but the one before that was Saw 10, and so I've seen all of them except for 10, and it really does kind of start to go downhill. But I will give it like the whole storyline that they put together with like combining all the Saw movies. Like they do follow a plot line, and so if that's something that you're into, then they're not the worst movies ever. But there's too many of them, dude.
I was also
Furious.
I was also a piece of shit in my younger years, so I don't want to relate to anyone having consequences. You know
What
what
do
I
you-
mean? To the things that
What do you mean you were?
I was trying to give myself the benefit of the doubt there.
I used to be
Trying to
a
give myself
real.
an out, man.
I used to be a real piece of shit. My hair was slicked back.
Now it's just the weekends. You're just a part-time piece of shit.
I'm just a part-time asshole. Like,
The motherfucking Starboy.
right?
Go
Like
to,
I
go to
don't want to
Muldoon's
I don't
and
want
get
to see
sloppy
it.
steaks.
I don't want to see a drug addict get their comeuppance because it's just gonna feel too real for me. You know what I mean?
Bro, that's why my
He should be
sister
the
can't
hero.
watch Breaking Bad. Like she's like, nah,
Mhm.
just can't watch people do that. Just
Dude,
even
my
if I know
sis-
it's
my
fake,
sis-
I just can't watch people do that.
Dude, my sister loved Breaking Bad.
I do too. It's number two
Yeah.
in my opinion. But
Right.
yeah, I just people with like prior drug use just it seemed
I could see that
that's
being
what I'm
sort
trying
of
to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cole, what's your number 5?
My number 5 was really hard to lock down just because number 4. And what's so funny is that I was sitting down and she's like, Angela asked me, she's like, so what's the topic for tomorrow? And I was like, oh, top 5 horror movies. And she just banged them out right there for me. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, you fucking nail it.
Homework done.
That 5th one is kind of iffy just because it's a little bit of recency bias. We just barely watched it again. But yeah, the 5th one, I'm gonna have to go with 1986's David Cronenberg's The Fly with Jeff
Ooh.
Goldblum.
Nice. Very nice.
That was a
Very
good
nice.
one, man.
That was
That
a real
movie
good one.
is
It had some
really
a little
fucking
bit of
good.
like for me way back then, like that had some major gross out factor too.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was like
Like-
wincing. We watched it
Bill?
like 2 weekends ago, and I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like fuck
that gross
me.
out factor, that body horror is
Like I've
really
never
prevalent
this scene has never left me when he's doing the arm wrestle and snaps the guy's
Yeah, bro.
Oh
arm
my
in half,
god, I
like-
forgot about that.
yeah. That's never left my brain.
Not only that, but like the movie ends on such a fucking downer note that it's like it like really stuck with me this time. Like, and it's spoilers, I guess, but like when he's like fully transformed into this fucking fly, like, dude, the part where she comes in and he's just a fucking mess, right? And she does something to his jaw and it just falls off, and then his whole
Yeah.
face just start like it's typical Cronenberg like body horror shit, but his whole face like starts falling apart, and he like reveals that he's like the fly now, right? Like he
Yeah.
actually looks like a fly. And then he goes through the portal again, or the transporter again, and it like really fucks with him, and he comes out and he's like morphed with a dude. The imagery in this movie, I could go on for days, but like he like morphs with the teleporter, so when he comes out he's like an HR Geiger like fucking biomechanical mess of a fly and like in tubing, and it's so fucking gross and cool. And that's the part when the girl like picks up the shotgun and he like grabs the barrel and puts it on his head. Like these types of movies don't make me feel things like that, and I'm like, God. And not only that, the one thing to end on The Fly, Jeff Goldblum is fucking immaculate as this
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
down to like the bug, like he has like he has like exaggerated facial features, right? But his eyes can go really fucking wide, right? He doesn't normally. He's usually kind of like laid back. But in this movie, he specifically like bulges them the fuck out so he can look like a bug-eyed fucking freak from the beginning. And I love that he's this eccentric, brilliant scientist that just gets too caught up in his own ego. I love it. It's so good. It's
Dude, and that movie's such an icon too. Like you
Mhm.
couldn't go anywhere in the 80s and 90s and not hear someone going, help me. You know what I mean? Like it was
yeah.
like that shit was like
Yeah.
everywhere.
I'm gonna need to watch that again now.
Yeah, dude, me
I
too.
haven't
Like
watched it in decades.
Bro, it holds
Dude,
the fuck up. I'm not
Hell
gonna
yeah.
lie, it's really good.
Hell yeah.
hell yeah. Derek, what's your number 5?
I think I'll just start off with something that is probably pretty obvious for me. It's got to be the old school um, cable movie event of It, Stephen King's
Nice.
It.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
not that no disrespect to the new version,
Tim
Right.
Curry.
because the new version's great. But yeah, how do you fucking beat Tim Curry?
Still
don't.
scary. It's still
And
scary in like a different way.
yeah,
Like,
and
and
it's
it's
got,
like innate too.
and
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I massively prefer, and no disrespect again, to Bill Hader,
You
but
fucking hate him.
no,
You fucking use and you said Bill Hader too. It's Bill Skarsgård.
no. Bill Hader played Richie.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm done.
But no offense to Bill Hader, but the original actor who played Richie, who was and I'm forgetting his name. I should have Googled it, but he played the judge on Night Court. If anybody knows what the fuck that is.
I know what
Um,
Night Court is.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Because like, yeah, I'm dating myself, but like I loved the shit out of Night Court. And so like him in that role is awesome. But
How's that going for you?
I got to second base.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so glad that like you picked up on that, like, because I said it, like I waited for you to finish your thought and then I said it.
But yeah, no, it is that old movie is still scary and just it's so good. It's so
It
good.
really is. It really
And
is.
like, I mean, even for the cringy effects, like,
Well, I mean, back then those were it. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
yeah,
those were
especially for a TV movie,
right, exactly. And it
But
was the body horror in there. Well, not the body horror, but like the psychological
yeah.
body contortions and shit like that. That was like wild.
Well, and all the blood, and just Pennywise. Like I really like the way Pennywise in that version um teased and tormented the kids,
Right.
and the adults, of course. But like, I don't know, it just, and the other thing for me about that version of Pennywise is that that's a clown that also just looks like a clown.
Right.
Like,
Right.
no one in their right mind would ever look at Skarsgård's Pennywise and go, "That's a normal fucking dude right there. I bet he's
Yeah,
a
like,
swell
yeah.
guy." That's not a
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
Like, it's
Why
the
not?
embodiment of sinister clown. Like that, you
Yeah.
can't see it
I
as
get it.
anything other than that. But like
Valid.
Tim Curry's, he could just be a clown. He could just be a totally
Right. Right. Just a
normal
regular ass dude.
innocent clown,
Until he's
Um,
not.
and I thought that made it even more scary, is that this could just be some performer, some entertainer, like, and you don't, like, no one would know the difference until it's too late. But yeah, so that's got to be my, and I mean, it's Stephen King, which, like, that was one of the first things I really got into,
Right.
post, like, being a little kid and reading Chronicles of Narnia and shit
Right,
like that.
right.
That was like the first like adult thing I read, and like I had to get my mom, because we were in a store around Christmas time, and
Mhm.
how, like, especially back then, but like a lot of times during or around holidays, they would have like those big bins of like bargain books and shit.
Right.
They had one with a 3-pack of Stephen King books, which were the first 3 books in the Dark Tower series. And I had to beg the shit out of my mom to get it, because she was like, "No, that's scary. That's Stephen King. It's like, it's horror, it's bad. Like, you don't want that. And I was like, no,
That's
I do. I fucking do want that.
that's
And
spiritual warfare.
that's where it kicked off for me, because like, I'd always seen the Stephen King, the commercials for the Stephen King library, which are wild, by the way. You can go and see those on YouTube. Fucking phenomenal. Like peak, like almost QVC like little commercials, like so fucking phenomenal. But anyway, so like I was like, I gotta check this shit out. And so anyway, seeing it was just like it for me,
Nice.
Wasn't the Stephen King library where we had the send them to me, or send them all to me?
Yeah.
Send them all.
Yeah, like, and it was so funny because it would be like this little model, right? Like this little like plastic ass, like ridiculous little like house or a town or whatever, with some shitty trees and some shitty little gravestones, and you'd have like some really terribly done like lightning, or just like some. The commercials are fucking amazing. Like,
That's
you really
great.
need to look them up.
I'm gonna have to.
Hell yeah.
My number 5 is Final Destination, the first one.
Nice.
So like this is one of those movies where I can remember the deaths actually like affecting me. Like just like wincing at the sight of some of the kills, like it was one of the first movies that made me be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It,
The first
and
one's got some brutal kills in it too.
it
Well,
does,
and I
dude.
can't drive behind big ass like trucks
Right.
without going.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that thing is still everywhere. Like, oh, I better
Everyone.
move, better get out of the rear view of this truck with all these logs on it.
Yeah,
Dude, I just
exactly.
saw like a Facebook post or something, and they were like, when is everyone gonna let go of Final Destination? That load bearing truck isn't gonna stop. Like, even now, you know what I mean? 24 years later, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? This was also like peak edgy white kid, you know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah.
2000s, you know what I mean? Like we had Devin Sawa and Ali Larder, and who else did we have? What the hell is his name?
Oh,
Stifler, Sean
yeah,
William
Stifler. What
Scott.
the fuck is it? Yeah.
Sean William Scott. I mean, these guys were everywhere when it came to like the teen movies, and it came to like like edgy movies like Grind and fucking
Whatever happened to Sawa?
I don't know.
She
I
got
don't
sawed
know.
off.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Because I mean he
Come on,
was he was
I haven't made a joke like that in a while. All right, I was due.
and
and it
he like
still
Devin
gets the same reaction.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Devin
Crickets.
Sawa was huge like in that
Yeah,
like
dude,
time.
massive.
I mean, what Idle Hand was
The idle
yeah,
hands.
was it Idle Hands?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Idle Hands.
He was kind of the teen heartthrob, like of like
Yeah, he was like the teen
Hollywood.
dude. Yeah, and what was he was in Casper.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, that's right.
He was Casper, the human version. I mean, but Saul was still doing stuff, man. Murder in a Small Town, All the Lost Ones, Consumed. Um,
Wait, he murdered someone in a small town?
yeah, Murder in
And
a
then
Small Town,
consumed them.
and then consumed them.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, I feel like you should do it in a big city where people won't notice.
Right.
But
Final
Exactly.
Destination is like stupid smart too. Like it kind of ran its course. And what's funny is like the first time I remember watching Final Destination is like I watched it's actually one of my first horror movies that I saw in the theaters because I was a huge pussy and I did not want to watch scary movies at all, but I was like, damn, I like really want to. And I find Final Destination, I think, was like the second one that I saw in the theater. But it was the 3D one. Do you remember the 3D one? It's
Oh yeah.
the one where the guy gets his asshole sucked out through the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
That is
what a way to go.
it's still my favorite Final Destination.
But I guarantee
it feels good until it doesn't.
I was gonna say, I guarantee it, up until a certain point, that was great.
It
For
was
him.
right before he came. Is right when it like
The ultimate edge.
Uh,
the deadliest edge.
The deadliest edge.
Hot tub
Yeah,
maxing.
I really like that one. It has some stupid creative kills. It has like the escalator where the chick gets like ground up in the gears. That was fucking insane.
The one where the giant window pane just falls on the person. Just squashes
well,
them.
and those were always the best ones where it wasn't just like them going, "Hey, how can let's come up with some weird way for someone to die that people haven't thought of." The best ones were like pre-existing phobias and fears that people have of like getting caught in an escalator, like getting
Yep.
a log from a fucking truck coming smashing through your window. Like,
dying in a plane blowing up.
yeah, like those are
Getting run
the
over by a bus, dude. That I
and
remember that
obviously
one.
and for obvious reasons, like those are the ones that stick with you because like those are societally shared fears, you know.
Or
Yeah.
the LASIK one.
The LASIK one is yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Bad.
Yeah, that's my number 4. 5,
yeah.
I mean. Nick, number 4.
So like I said, I have 3 movies, including Saw, on here that are very stupid and silly, but those are my favorite types of like you would call them B horror movies. My number 4,
Don't tell me what I would call them.
you would call them that.
All right, fine. God.
My number 4 is the 1988 Stephen Chiodo classic Killer Clowns from Outer Space,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
which actually the 3 writers, Charles, Stephen, and Edward Chiodo, that's where the Chiodos brothers got their name.
Cool.
Oh.
That's cool.
Yeah. This movie is just everything about it is just dumb. Like basically, they're living in this small town, and these clowns from outer space show up and use like carnivalistic means to like kill people. Like they'll shoot
Nice.
somebody with a ray gun and it will envelop them in like a giant web of cotton candy.
Derek, have you not seen this movie?
No. But please tell me for the love of God that they use a squirting flower.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. They have like
Come
You gotta
on.
watch this movie. You gotta watch this movie, Derek.
No, I've been wanting to, and I've been needing to, and I
Yeah.
just for whatever reason don't ever get around to
It's
it.
cult classic, bro.
They
Like, I
have
don't
like
think
so.
they have
I
like a balloon animal dog that like leads them around like it's an actual dog, but it's
Yes.
just made out of a balloon animal. They
Beautiful.
pie a police officer to death. Like they just throw pies at him until he's covered, like suffocated in just this
Yeah.
giant pile of pie, and then they put this giant cherry on top. It's so
Nice.
fucking good. Yeah, this movie is, there's nobody in it that is like of note, except for Christopher Titus is in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's like super deep too. Like
That is-
That
Yeah,
is a
that's-
deep cut. And I just love the main character. He's played by Grant Kramer. His name is Mike Tobacco. Like, how good of a name is that?
I
be
love
honest.
those B movies, dude. Like those B movies
Yeah.
they have such a charm to them that it's incredible. I love them.
Yeah, this movie is, they made a game about it, and I haven't really heard anything good or bad about it.
Like
So
when?
I played it because
Yeah.
Weird bought it. Yeah, Weird bought it, and I played it, and it has a lot of potential. It didn't keep me.
Is it kind of like Dead by Daylight?
Yeah. So it's one of those like asymmetrical deals. Not really though, because you have the same number of clowns and the same number of, but it's in that vein. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You can either choose to be the clowns, and that's how you capture people, is the ray gun with the cotton candy.
I
And you
love
turn
it.
them into a big ball of cotton candy, and you like grab the ball and like take it to like the hook area or whatever.
And I remember one of my favorite parts is um I just have it up on IMDb, but where they are doing the puppet show for the guy, and then the one clown comes out of the stuff and just ray guns the guy. But the scene in the I think it's kind of in the beginning where the two people like come across their spaceship that's like shaped like a fucking circus tent, and they like go on the spaceship and it's playing. You can hear like the and there's all this like giant things of cotton candy like hanging from the ceiling, and then that's when they get shot. It's such a funny fucking movie. It's one of my favorites.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
would highly
Cool.
recommend.
Cole, number 4.
My number 4 is John Carpenter's legendary 1982 film, The
The
Thing.
Thing.
See, I was
Hell
gonna
yeah.
put that on my list, but I was like, I know Cole's going to. Like, we'll give it to Cole.
Yeah, so
I
Angela
remember-
really wants me to double feature this. So the first Thing in 1982, and then
Oh.
the prequel of sorts from 2011. Not nearly as good, however, is totally worth a watch. I think
It's
they like
still a
totally.
banger.
Well, and
I
It
think they.
is.
didn't
Go
we
ahead,
do an
sorry.
episode on those?
Yeah.
Like on both of
Mhm.
them?
We
Yep.
did.
Oh yeah, we did,
Episode-
huh? Yeah, we did.
Yep. Episode 149. What's it called? The Thing?
The Thing.
Go ahead and check it out.
You had that pulled up because you knew Cole was going to say The Thing, right?
Of course.
I think I already know what Cole's number 1 is too. So
Me too.
It's pretty obvious, but
yeah.
The Thing is a classic, bro. It is so fucking good. And star power out the ass. We have
Oh,
Kurt
yeah.
Russell, who is at the peak in the 80s, bro. That's like when he was the hottest. And then we also have personal favorite, Keith David. I really love him just as Arbiter from Halo. I know that that's
Right.
like a super fucking niche and like specific thing, but I fucking love Keith David. I recognize him instantly every time now.
I didn't take it out for air.
I didn't take it out for air, baby girl. Yeah, that is a haunting fucking movie. That honestly could have been number 5, but and then also Mr. Diabetes himself, Mr. Wolford Brimley.
Yeah.
That's
Also
right.
David Clenn and TK Carter and Donald Moffat. They're all fucking awesome in this movie. And I love how on edge everybody is, and not getting edged, just on edge. You know what I mean? Like no one knows who's infected, who is the thing until it's too late. And it's like every time it's this harrowing event with just some of the most horrific imagery that is lovingly brought to life with real life prosthetics and what's the other word I'm looking for here?
The practical effects.
Practical effects. There it is. Sorry. Yeah, like just really, really wise and used so sparingly, but like when it is done really well, in my opinion. And my favorite like thing moment is I don't know which character. It might be Wilford Brimley's character, but he's like on the table and they're like trying to bring him back, and the guy's like doing the clear
The defibrillator.
the defibrillator, and then it like his stomach like opens up and it's a mouth and it just clamps down on his arms.
Yeah.
Dude, it's The Thing is essential. You have to fucking watch that movie. It's
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And also like just to end, give the score its shine as well. I think it is perfectly haunting and really adds to the anxiety of the movie. But yes, fucking classic, and you can watch it pretty much anywhere. So please go watch it.
And it's like I said when we did the episode, The Thing is just among us.
is yeah, it is. It's a Mugus. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Derek?
My next one is a horror classic, Hocus Pocus. No,
Sisters!
that was my quote at the beginning was Billy Butcherson
Yeah.
when he
Oh,
finally
dude.
gets his mouth opened.
Speaking of Hocus Pocus and edging, we all saw Sarah Jessica Parker in that movie, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That
That's the
horse
only
face bitch. Yeah, I
that's
saw her.
literally the only time I've ever found her remotely attractive.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
She
Agreed.
looks so good in Hocus Pocus. Like that's got to be a lot of makeup
Yep.
because like she looked amazing.
That's where all the budget
Oh!
that's where all the budget went.
Right, making her pretty.
It's gonna take a lot of magic to make me want to pound that. I'll tell you what.
But no, so for real though, like my next one is, well, I think I'm gonna kind of just do mostly deep pulls for like the rest of these.
Mm.
And I went down a huge rabbit hole for this the other night, but it's all about the Monster Squad for me, which is like a horror comedy, like
Mhm.
classic horror, like in terms of like the universal monsters,
Mhm.
right? And I mean it's just wild. Like Eddie, did you know that the guy who plays Frankenstein's monster in Monster Squad is the same guy that plays the antagonist in Last Action Hero?
No, dude. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, isn't that fucking wild?
That's rad.
Right?
Jesus, Last Action Hero. I haven't thought about that movie in ages.
Dude, I fucking love that movie.
That was a good movie.
That was oh my god, dude. His daughter in that movie.
Right. But yeah, I mean it's so great. I mean, classic lines. I mean, it's basically it's basically Goonies with monsters.
Yeah. Yeah,
If, you know.
that's pretty much what I see it as.
Yeah, so it's more like, I mean, it's certainly not what you would generally consider horror, but I'm lumping it in because it's Halloween themed. It's got monsters. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, these
you
aren't
know?
these don't like these this list is for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't hold any kind of like standard or anything like that. I mean, you could have
Yeah.
said Hocus Pocus and I would have been okay with that. You know what I mean?
Right. But yeah, no, like it's wild. Like the fat kid, he's literally called the fat kid in the movie. He actually died at 22
Oh,
from
wow.
pneumonia. So like 1990 something. I don't remember. But
Holy
like,
shit.
but yeah, so he died at 22. One of the other kids in it, basically after this movie, and then I think he had like one or two more, fell off the face of the planet. No
Wow.
one had heard from him or anything for like decades. And recently on the thing, let's see, the Thing with Two Heads podcast, I guess not recently, like it's a number of years old already, but like I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago, they actually did some sort of private signing with him and did this whole little interview. And man, dude has done a lot of drugs.
Oh,
Like,
no.
and I feel, I mean, he seems like he's doing well. He's extremely good natured. He was, like I feel really bad for the guy, but man, he's had some tough times.
He's had a
And
rough
yeah,
go.
but I mean, he's positive as fuck. Like, seems like a super nice guy. So like that's cool that he's still around and kicking. But yeah, no, they recently also, like not too long before that, had done an interview, or I mean, excuse me, done a documentary, because like there's just within the last 15 years or so, there's been this huge resurgence, nostalgic, cult following sort of deal with that movie, like there has been with a lot of others. And he wasn't involved in that. And so he was kind of, heard about that, and they were like, well, we didn't know where to contact you. And he's like, yeah, you did. So like it's this whole back and forth thing, um
He
but
was
yeah,
Bret
no,
Harding.
I mean, not really, like, because he also was like, look, you know how to reach me, but like I could kind of understand if they didn't, because like some stuff went on between us and I was an asshole. And he, like, during this interview, he was like, hey, I really apologize for like anything that I had to do with that, caused bad feelings, and like just a really nice guy.
That's
Um,
good.
but anyway, I mean, how can you not love the movie that gave us the quote, Wolfman has nards? I mean, come on. It's
He,
gotta be on the list.
he is a wolf man.
That's true.
Right.
Oh, that actually reminds me. Another one of the things I found out just going through the cast list, the guy who plays, not the guy, it was a different guy in the Wolfman suit, but
Right.
when he was in the human form, that was the what's his name? The dude that played Uncle Rico in Napoleon
Napoleon
Dynamite.
Dynamite? Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
Napoleon.
wild.
So just some of the notable people in it. We've got Tom Noonan as Frankenstein's monster, which is that dude.
Mhm.
Do you remember David Faustino from
Yeah.
Married with
Married
Children?
with Children. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Michael Faustino was in this. His little brother was in
Huh.
this. Yeah. Then we've got.
Do you remember David Faustino? Well, it wasn't him, but
I'm just, hey, you know what? It's still interesting.
I know.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you would have said, yeah, and Michael Faustino's in it, we'd just be like, who the fuck is Michael
Okay.
Faustino?
But
Is
yeah,
he
no,
related to David?
a little bit. Jason Hervey. I don't know if you remember him, but he was on, I want to say, was it the Wonder Years? I think he was the older brother on the Wonder Years, maybe.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking
It,
about.
it was some like early 90s TV show.
No, I know I know exactly who you're talking about.
But yeah, and then John Grease played Larry Talbot, the Wolfman. But yeah, like just some really wild, like big actors that I had zero recollection, or I guess not recollection, but previous knowledge that they were in this movie. Because when I was a kid, I wouldn't have had any fucking clue. But
nor would you have cared. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, okay, David Faustino's brother, whatever.
yeah. Cool. My number 4 is the 2003 Rob Zombie classic House of a Thousand Corpses.
Nice.
So slasher movies really aren't like my bag, right? Like I'd like, of course, respect to all the slashers, right? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Freddy, Jason, all those.
You hear that? Eddie says, fuck you specifically.
They're gonna come for you.
I don't give a
It is
fuck.
almost Halloween.
Fuck them all.
Jason is gonna come get you.
You're gonna get shot by Art the Clown.
Right. Fucking but so they're not really my bag, but this was one of those movies that had like a certain rawness to it that just like really drew me in. It was like dirty and gritty, and like while I was afraid of those other slashers, like this one just felt more real to me, right? And they put a fear into me that the other ones didn't do, because like I can actually believe that like there's this crazy ass group of people that live in the middle of fucking nowhere that just fucking snatch people up and fucking torture them and kill them and do all that
Yeah,
shit to them.
this seems like wildly possible.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like Hills Have Eyes type shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it was, I loved it because it was also Rob Zombie, right? And I was like in high school, and fucking Rob Zombie was like the edgy thing to listen to. You know what I mean? Like yeah.
We're doing it, baby.
And I remember Sid Haig making me uncomfortable. Like,
oh yeah, big time.
Because I knew a white kid who lived in a trailer who had a dad that was exactly like Sid Haig.
Jesus.
right. And so I was like, oh shit, that's Jeremy's dad, bro. Like, fuck. like,
Don't
like,
kill me.
right. And Sherry Moon Zombie, she was scary in a hot way, you know.
Scary in a hot way.
You know.
Why am I bricked up?
Yeah, like
That's-
this is weird.
It's a legit. I mean, it's a
Very weird.
thing. It's a thing.
The fear.
Like,
It's a fear boner.
It really is. It
A
really
phoner?
is. Yep.
So I've never seen this movie.
You've never seen House
my
of a Thousand
God.
Corpses?
No, I haven't seen any of the. So the only Rob
House
Zombie
of a
movie I think
Thousand,
that
Devil's
I've seen.
Rejects, 31.
Yeah, the only Rob Zombie movie that I saw was the Halloween reboot.
Oh, that's a bad one of those to see.
I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. Like but Halloween's like
mean,
kind of a low bar for me. I'm just
none
like,
of them
it's
are like I like Rob Zombie. I like the movies, but like I mean, none of them are the height of cinema. Like,
Well, no, not at all.
I've
Not
heard
at
no,
all.
I've heard wonderful that dude. There's a huge fan base for these movies. This like
no,
trio
yeah,
of
there
movies.
is. Like, and they are great. But like, anyway,
Definitely watch Devil's Rejects because that one was like the best one. Like that was peak Rob Zombie horror. Was the Devil's Rejects?
Dude, the end of the movie. That's all I'll say is the end of the movie.
Yep. And I remember Sid Haig making me uncomfortable there too.
Tutti fucking fruity.
He's just one of those dudes, that like you see sitting in front of his house or whatever, and then he just makes these insane threats at you for being on his lawn and shit. And he's like, I'll fucking cut you up and serve it to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those dudes. And but
That's so real, dude.
Is it Devil's Rejects or House of a Thousand where they're on the farm and is like, that boy looks a little sexually frustrated. I feel like he's gonna fuck some of them chickens. He's like, I'm not gonna fuck any chickens.
I think it was House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Correct us in the comments.
is.
Correct us in the comments. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
I
But
do.
like that sounds familiar from
But yeah, don't feel free to correct us in the comments and tell us we're stupid and shit. But
Fuck you.
yeah, I don't know. That movie just had like I felt that fear that those two couples were feeling in that movie. Like I felt helpless. I felt the trapped sense, and I was like, whenever they were trying to escape, it was a legit slasher movie to me because like Freddy and Jason, those just felt helpless. Like that motherfucker's gonna kill you, and that's it. You know what I mean? But with House of a Thousand Corpses, it's like, oh man, you might get out.
There's
You know
still
what
a
I mean?
human element to it.
There's absolutely a human element to it. Like these people aren't super powered by any
Yeah.
means. These people aren't like
Unstoppable.
invincible, unstoppable. Exactly. Like these are just regular ass people who happen to know how to kill you and keep you away from people. And that shit was fucking scary to me. But
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
that's my number 4. Nick, number 3.
My number 3, it was kind of hand in hand with my number 2. Once I say number 3, I think you'll have, at least Cole will have a very good idea of what my number 2 is. But my number 3 is the 2019 Ari Aster masterpiece, Midsummer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to put Midsummer at number 3? Okay.
I'm putting Midsummer at number 3, dude.
Okay.
That movie was unsettling, and the only reason why I have this on my list is because there are these 2 movies out there, and the other one's going to be Hereditary. I'll just say it right now.
Yeah.
But these 2 movies, like I watch horror movies, and I'm not usually fazed by it. Like I'll watch a movie and just be like, oh my God, dude, that was insane. But like this movie was unsettling to me. And a lot of it had to do with the opening scene, or not the opening scene, but in the very beginning of the movie when
Opening event.
Florence Pugh's sister takes her own life, that definitely struck a chord with me. So right off the bat, I'm just like, oh shit, okay. Um, and then just they, if you're not familiar with the movie, there's this couple, Florence Pugh, and I believe Jack Rayner is the boyfriend.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Christian. Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, succulent, just beautiful, just
Succulent.
I mean,
She's
it's
awesome.
a good
She's-
descriptor. It's a good descriptor
Not
for
not
She's-
not hot on the last name.
Pugh.
Yeah, Pugh. Like
It doesn't have to be Pew. It could be hey, pew pew, bitch. You know what I mean?
True, true.
Pew.
Yeah,
But-
it's me pewing. You know.
Your
Florence-
squirt gun going off. In other words,
Florence Mew.
She like kind of got the same thing that like Sydney Sweeney's going on, where it's like, yeah, you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know exactly what you're doing.
But basically, this couple, they go to basically where I think where Christian, the boyfriend, his family comes from, is a rural hometown. There's a festival called the Midsummer Festival.
I don't mean to correct you, but it's a friend. There, so
Oh,
there's
that's
a
right. Oh, yeah. You're right.
yeah.
Actually.
He's like a. I don't want to get into it either, but he's a
you're-
foreign exchange student from Sweden.
Yeah, you're totally right.
I'm super autistic and like pointy about this because I love Midsummer for like a whole different reason, and it's because it's like it's really accurate to like Swedish like culture and lore and stuff. And I only know this shit because I'm dating someone who comes from a very, like my mother-in-law is very, very rich in Swedish. Like she goes she is Swedish for one, and she, is from Sweden and regularly goes home to Sweden to visit. I think her mom still lives there or something. But yeah, I just love how accurate it is to Swedish culture. And that's like a specific kind of hidden twist at the end of the movie on like who that dude really is, but it is his friend. It is like it's
you're
like, hey, come and do Midsummer with us.
Yeah,
I don't know why he's Mexican, but
hey, come to Midsummer, Holmes.
we'll have some tacos.
tacos, carne asada.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
no-
I got the pork ready on the grill, man. You can come over and you can meet summer with us, man. I got the modelos in the bag.
Can you do the
What about the
That's easy, bro. Like I've heard that shit. I heard that shit my whole life. I think I want to be a singer when I grow up.
I used to hear that from the dude at Beto's like all the time.
What do you know about hot sauce, gringo?
Hey, can I get a ham and egg breakfast burrito with sour cream? It's like
Ah,
fuck me, right?
Can I get some extra green sauce? I will literally
Little
pay.
white bitch.
so funny. Racism's hilarious.
It really is.
Stereotypes are real, and sometimes, yes, they're very funny.
Yeah, so Cole was totally right. It is a friend of Florence Pugh in the movie, Danny's boyfriend. Wilhelm Blomgren, Pele.
Yeah.
But yeah, they basically go to this midsummer festival in Sweden, seems all well and good. They're, dancing around with flower wreaths, and they, convince her to
Fuck
the hell was
that?
that?
Was
Uh,
that Penny?
Penny just got stepped on.
I thought it was like a parakeet or something.
Nope.
Is that
Just
was
a
that
little
a goddamn dog?
A goddamn dog?
Goddamn dog.
Yeah, it turns out that, without spoiling anything of the movie, it turns out that it's a violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. And there are some scenes in that movie that just
Fucking
kind of make you
brutal.
go, oh shit, dude.
Fucking
Like
brutal.
that's why this movie's in my my not top 5 list, but in my list of favorite movies because what's the Swedish name for the ritual that they do? It's like where the guy jumps off.
No way am I going to be able to remember that. But yeah, it's
Just make something up.
Stupid something.
a schmoogaschmorgen.
Yeah.
No one knows. They'll be fine.
The smorgasbord scene.
Yeah, that's a haunting scene because it's like
Yeah.
it's how they get rid of their old people.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, it's I so desperately want to watch this movie with my mother-in-law just so I can be like, so what's real? So so
Well, Cole, we weren't gonna tell you yet.
I know,
now that you're
but,
getting older,
like, do you guys really make them jump off the cliff?
We're gonna give you the Stroganoff treatment.
Dude, the people that have watched Midsummer are fucking rolling right now. Holy shit.
Oh God, bro.
Or more, I guess it would be more like throw him off instead of Stroganoff.
Throw them off, stroke them off.
oh,
Stroke
I
me
found
off.
it. I found it. Adishtup or Adishtupa.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, we're so dead. That part's so funny because they're like, we're going to do the Adishtupa. We're so, we're like hype. And then this person jumps off a cliff and literally explodes in front of their fucking face. And they're like,
yeah.
No, they're like, what the fuck? There's a girl that's like literally having a panic attack.
Isn't it like where he's like not dead, so they just like bash his head in?
The guy doesn't die.
Yeah.
So the guy, and they have a guy for that where they come over and he's got this big fucking brick hammer and just smashes his fucking head. Dude, it's insane. Like,
you gotta have a guy for that,
Yeah.
Ari Aster is not, this isn't the first time that we're going to bring up Ari Aster, but he's a fucking master of just horrific imagery, and
oh yeah,
not in a CGI type of way.
No, and that's why again this movie is in my list that we're doing today, is just because there's so many, like, because the movie revolves around like a pagan cult, there's so many real life cult references in this movie, like when
oh yeah,
I can't remember his name let me see here. He's the guy that plays Chidi on The Good Place.
Oh man, I love him.
Yeah, he's in this movie, and there's the scene like where they're all sleeping in like this communal room with just beds. There's no rooms. It's just a big room with beds. And there's a scene where like he goes to sleep and he's wearing the cross trainers, the same cross trainers that like they found Heaven's Gate members wearing when they died. Yeah, bro. And then it's just there's so many cool things in this movie, and it just got to me when I watched this movie. I'm like, there's not many movies out there that will make me just like go, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
that'll make you just kind of fuck up.
Sits with me. Yeah, exactly.
Fun fact, you should, if you're curious about this movie, just Google the term blood eagle. And if that doesn't turn you off immediately, then this movie is for you.
Every time I hear the word blood eagles, all I think about is Fallout.
Me too.
Oh, and you should watch this.
Midsummer's rad, dude. It's really good. Oh man, I don't even want to put it in a place in like a ranking of Astor's work, but like it's really good. And yeah, I'll say what I want to say.
That's why I couldn't do like a numbered ranking. These are just like a list of, like, I have an honorable mentions list that's like
same
of quite a long list. So
Cole, number 3.
My number 3 is Fede Alvarez's 2013 reboot, remake, something. I don't know. Whatever it is. Evil Dead 2013.
Nice.
This movie is assaulting in like every type of way. Like it is an hour and 31 minutes of just pure fucking assault on your senses. And it doesn't really ever let go ever. It takes the original Evil Dead and just kind of perverts it in a way
Well,
that like
because
makes it feel even dirtier and grimier and more forbidden than that
well, yeah,
original movie
because
did.
I mean, the original Evil Dead series was like campy and ridiculous, and
And this
like
is not. This is
which
like a
which I
full
love.
blown.
Absolutely love the original Evil Dead series and
Absolutely.
Army of Darkness. I mean, absolute
Polar
classic.
opposites. Polar
Yeah.
Absolutely.
opposites.
I have watched all of those previous Evil Deads, and I'm gonna tell you right now that I love this movie. Well, there's a better way to say that. I don't really like I have appreciation and some love for those old movies just because of, that's where it came from and
Yeah,
everything. But there's something about this movie specifically that is just got some of the craziest fucking body horror that I've ever seen in a movie, to the point where, dude, I still remember, it's one of those movie theater experiences that I'm never going to forget ever, because I took my friend who was in a horrible industrial accident and almost lost his arm. Like it got crunched up in these gears and stuff and like really fucked his arm up, and like he almost lost it, and it was like a huge deal, right? And it was, I think that happened in 2012. So this movie came out the year after, and
oh, shit.
there is a horrific scene of a woman cutting her fucking arm off with one of those like automatic meat like cutters. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like old.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like 80s, 90s tech, but and it
Yeah.
looks like a beater, like you would hold it like a beater, but it's like a saw, and it
Yeah.
like moves back and forth. And she's literally like buzzing her fucking arm off, and she's, like it's insane. And I'm never gonna forget how squirmish I was, but like in that scene, like just knowing that the guy next to me was probably really fucking going through it. But
Yeah.
He could have been like, oh shit, dude, that was almost me.
Like, why didn't I think of that?
Fede Alvarez also followed up with another amazing movie called Don't Breathe. I also heavily recommend that as well.
Oh my god, yes.
But goddamn, this guy really just like was like, I'm making a fan project. This is a fan movie, which is, pretty close to what he did with Alien. But he like got Evil Dead, and he was like, I'm going so fucking hard. I still think it is probably the most fucked up movie I've ever seen. Like it is crazy violent. It's crazy gory. And the one thing that I'll end on is my favorite final girl. Like even beating Sigourney. Like I
Really?
really I
Wow.
love Jane Levy as
Interesting.
Mia. Mia is such a cool fucking character, dude. And like the whole plot of them being like, it's all of her friends and family that are like bringing her out to like this old cabin that's owned by their family that they used to go to when they were kids, but she's like a heroin addict or something, and they bring her out here as like a what would you call that?
Like a sacrifice or
Uh,
or what? Like
eventually, yes, but an intervention is what I was looking for. Like
Oh,
all of her friends, like you're surrounded by all of your friends, and
gotcha.
we want to help you like kick this, and she like doesn't want to be there. And so there's this excellent push and pull between like, is she just insane because she's seeing these horrific things and no one else is seeing them, so, and she's like can't convey properly like what she's seeing because they think that she's just coming down, that she's like she's detoxing, and she's seeing,
Hallucinating and
not only is she hallucinating, but she's so fucking irritable that she wants to like kill each other. Like she wants to kill people. Like, she's coming down from drugs, but she's really being haunted by this fucking spirit. You know what I mean? And
like
I
it's
I love
they're
that push and
so
pull.
they're so tonally different, like the old series
Oh,
and
dude.
the new. Like I mean, they're really only the same series in name
In
only.
name only, like
That like
really in
that's
name only.
yeah.
And well, and not only that, but like it takes place in a cabin. Like there's the shotgun, there's the possession, like
The
there's
chick under the floor.
Yeah, under the floor. Don't cut it off, bitch. Don't cut it off. I fucking love this movie, dude. It is so fucking cool, and it is not for the faint at heart. It is brutal as fuck. I'm surprised that it's rated R because it pushes the boundaries so.
Did
fucking
you
much.
see
Crazy.
Evil Dead Rise?
Absolutely, and I loved it.
Another banger.
Best title card I've ever seen in a movie.
Another banger.
Ever. Yeah, it's awesome. It's not as good as 2013, but I really loved it a lot. I haven't watched it for a second time. I should do that. But.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Before we move on, since you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification. We want to get into as many nerdy ears as possible, and this is the best way to do it. Comment whatever you want. We just want the interaction. Like, you could be like, these movies suck and you guys suck.
Yeah.
And like
you're probably right.
You guys fucking blow.
These movies are bad and you should feel bad.
Right, exactly. But we just want to interact with you guys. We want to know what you guys think. We love talking to you. We have merch, redbubble.com/nerdcourt podcast. Get our sayings and our logos on anything you want, really, almost from shower curtains.
Get it on your dick.
Get it on your dick. We got decals for that shit, right? And we can make them as small as possible for all our fellow small peepees.
All our small cocked homies. We should actually do that. We should do
the like small dick decals. Patrol.
Do dick decals
for our short kings.
Put your dick on it. Like, that's the saying, is put your dick on it.
Put your dick on it.
Strap on.
We've partnered with Dubby. Go to dubby.gg, get some awesome flavors of energy drink, and use promo code NERDCORP on your way out to get 10% off your order. We love it. We stand by it. It's good gamer fuel. There's no crash. And they taste good. So, there's a bonus. If you love us and want to support what we do, consider supporting us on PayPal, paypal.me/nerdcourt podcast. We want to give you the best loot, give you the best giveaways, and give you the best nerdy experience. And that is the best way to do that. Venmo and Cash App coming soon.
Also, Dubby has really cool merch on their website too. I've looked through it a bunch, and you can use the code there, I believe, as well on their merch.
You can just on anything site-wide, I believe. Don't quote us on that. Derek,
I can't
don't
imagine.
Quote me.
I'm sure it is.
Hey,
just put it in to be safe.
Eddie Lyon said it was site-wide. Why can't I get this shirt?
And I
right,
quote,
and then they're gonna come back and be like, "You're a fucking liar, Eddie Lyon, with your stupid bald lying head. You fucking told me it was site-wide, you piece of shit."
Fucking asshole.
And then
never listening to your stupid podcast again.
That'll be one of our interactions, and we'll be like, somebody commented.
And we'll read it out loud and apologize to you publicly.
And then tell you to go fuck yourself.
And then tell you to go
that too.
Fucking jump off a bridge.
Apologizing tour.
Derek, what's your number 3?
So again, in the theme of, deep pulls, I'm gonna go with The Prophecy.
Oh, that's a good one.
1995's more than horror, I guess I would say, religion themed, apocalyptic sort of
still fear-based.
Yeah, for sure. This is where I personally fell in love with Christopher Walken. Fucking amazing. For anybody that's not familiar with it, it's basically a war is raging in heaven between a group of rebellious angels and then, the rest of heaven. And there's this really bad dude on Earth accused of war crimes and all sorts of stuff. And for whatever reason that I forget, because it's been a bit,
voting for Donald Trump.
His soul is basically the key to winning this war in heaven. So both sides are trying to get this guy's soul. It's like the ultimate weapon. And I mean, some amazing people in it. We've got Elias Koteas, who, of course, played in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was Casey Jones.
Mhm.
And then we've also got Viggo Mortensen
Yeah.
as Lucifer. A full what, like 4 years, I want to say, or so before Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
What year did you say this was?
What year? Oh, 1995. Because Lord of the Rings was like 99.
No. Lord of the Rings was like like very early 2000s. So it was
Oh,
another
okay. So like
another
5
year.
years.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, but it's such a good movie, and like you've got all sorts of fucked up stuff going on, like Gabriel, who is Christopher Walken. He gets, sort of like forces humans to do his bidding, and so like there's his first servant or whatever that he picks is this guy who commits suicide, and like as he's basically laying there dying dead, Gabriel like raises him back up and is like, here's the thing. I know you want to die, but I'm not going to let you until you do some shit for me, and then I'll let you die.
Right.
Like, really fucked up stuff. Anyway, like, and so yeah, it's just this war between the two factions or whatever, and it's great because Viggo Mortensen as Lucifer isn't even like a main character. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
main character, but like he kind of comes in, I want to say like a good 65-75% of the way through the movie,
Yeah.
and is like, hey, so here's the thing. You guys are doing some evil shit, and that's kind of my thing. So if you could fucking stop, like you're encroaching on my brand. All right.
Like if you could not, like,
Like you're encroaching on my brand. So, but like, I mean, it's pretty fucking amazing. Like it's one of the movies that got me into, kind of the more scary or psychologically like just fucked up sort of movies. It's so good. I have no idea if it holds up because it's been a couple decades, but man, it was a great movie. It was definitely one of my like starting movies into more like serious fucked up movies.
nope.
Hell
Very
yeah.
cool.
Eddie, you got to answer for this. Hold on.
What?
What the fuck is this Nutter Butter stuff?
Are you watching it?
What the fuck is going on?
Dude, there's just one where it's a Nutter Butter
This
smashed
is a
into
diorama of a house, and there's Nutter Butter peanut butter smeared all over it.
yeah.
Why?
There's one where it's just a Nutter Butter mashed into a baby crock.
Come on.
Like it's just
What the fuck? Hold on.
What is this again?
the Nutter Butter official TikTok page.
Why is the first one that I pulled up like a really bad acid trip?
Yeah, dude,
That's exactly what it is.
Nutter Butter video reversed audio.
What the fuck are they doing?
No, I have no idea. But if you look at them, other official pages, like if you look in the comments, other official pages are commenting.
Chat,
And
is this real by Subway?
Yeah, chat, is this real by Subway? Like,
Pop Tart says this made me tear up.
bro, I don't know what the fuck is going on with the Nutter Butter TikTok page.
Fuck you, brands. We're not gonna go get your fucking stupid ass, corny ass fucking peanut butter cookie. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's so funny. There's so much of it too, and like I just don't understand what's happening.
I scrolled through like 15 videos. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this like weird acid trippy bullshit. Like it's just so my number 3 is the 2002 Steve Beck directed Ghost Ship.
I really thought you were gonna say Steve Bannon. I don't know why.
It's a good one. It's an underrated movie.
It really
I
is,
agree.
dude. And Steve Beck, he also directed 13 Ghosts.
Which is on my honorable mentions.
It's on
Um,
my honorable mentions as well.
Hot take.
Mm.
The opening scene of that movie, in my opinion, was the only memorable part.
You're dumb.
Eh, I mean, valid. I accept that. I don't know. It's slightly disingenuous just because there
I
is.
I don't remember anything else about the movie. Like, I'm being
Except for
honest. Like,
the beheading. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, that's definitely the most iconic part of that movie.
For
I
sure.
mean, the thing that I remember most about this movie is the uneasy feeling I got when people would get killed. Um, and I felt the same way about like 13 Ghosts, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I do remember like being attracted to that brutality, being, you know, being
Ugh.
like, oh, that shit's fucking crazy. That's
Matthew
fucking cool.
Lillard's death in 13 Ghosts was
Oh,
like
I know,
the
dude.
most heartbreaking thing.
yeah.
I know.
Ugh.
But, you know, on top of all of that brutality, on top of all of the like, you know, foreboding feelings of that movie, it had a banger soundtrack. You know,
Hell yeah.
what was it, Mudvayne? I think it was the
Fuck,
Yeah, it was
dude. I
fucking
yeah,
Mudvayne, dude.
it was
love Mudvayne.
Mudvayne's Not Falling. I think it was the song
Mudvayne
that
Mudvayne's probably like my favorite new metal band.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I fucking
Really?
I love Mudvayne. I don't
Dude,
know
Oh,
what
dude.
it is. Like that
I,
dude's voice, Chad Gray's voice is fucking ridiculous.
I
Ridiculous.
saw them last year.
Did
Oh
you?
shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's dope.
It's Rob Zombie, and opening for him was Power Man,
Ooh,
Mudvayne, and Static X.
Dude, Power
damn.
Man. God damn, that's a nostalgia tour.
Static X is up
It was
there
an
It
too.
really was. It really was.
Dude, I
Man.
remember back in the day of burning CDs. I would like burn a CD. I burned what was it, LD50, and
Mhm.
I
Oh,
fucking and I like with red and blue marker made the little like DNA fucking
oh
thing
yeah.
moving
Nice.
around.
Burber
That's
ding, burber
that
ding,
album
burber
is
ding.
still on my little thumb drive that I plug into the car.
Oh,
Like,
that's dope.
yeah,
Yeah. Dope,
fucking
dope.
love that.
Dude, like
So good. So good.
One of my favorite songs by them is actually Happy, and that's like
I love that fucking
when
song,
they
dude.
transitioned from their like crazy like skeleton makeup wearing, where they were just like they just looked like normal people.
King of Pain is super good too.
Yeah.
and the people that were like in this movie, like Isaiah Washington is Greer, Carl Urban is Munder. Like these people weren't as big as they were, you know, except for I think maybe Juliana Margulies, you know, Gabriel Byrne, um,
Who we're
Emily
going to talk about
Browning,
here in a minute.
Yep.
Emily Browning as Katie. There's just the little girl. I mean that's it. It was one of those movies that like introduced that uh that blue hue over everything really well. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
everything
oh
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of that bluish, grayish, just like it added to that sense of fear and foreboding. I feel like this movie is uh super underrated because I mean it didn't come to the best reception. I don't think it did.
It might be
But
one of those ones that I might just have to rewatch, because it's like,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it was better than I remember.
Yeah, no, it's like it's about a salvage crew who just finds this like 60s passenger ship and it's just like out there in the Bering Sea somewhere and they're just trying to figure out if they can, you know, get into it and
That opening kill scene though is like
oh yeah.
iconic.
Oh yeah, like of course anytime anyone brings up Ghost Ship they're going to and it's crazy because it's usually not that when it comes to like horror scary movies or
Yeah.
things of that sort. Like the opening scene is usually just like some kids
Yeah,
fucking off in a
they
summer
blew
camp or
their
some
load
shit.
right at the start.
Right at the fucking beginning, bro. They just
They
fucking
came prematurely.
They did.
A fly landed on their dick and they blew their load.
just like my dad the night he made me, they came unprepared.
Uh,
But yeah, that's mine. Number 3. So number two, Nick.
Number 2, I kind of, speaking of blowing loads, I kind of prematurely mentioned this when I was talking about Midsummer, but my number 2, um 2018's Hereditary.
That
Um
movie is all kinds of fucked up.
yes, so much so that it gave is Gabriel Byrne the brother in the movie?
No, he's the dad.
Oh, Alex Wolf. It gave Alex Wolf massive PTSD
Like
after they made
really
this movie.
fucked him up.
Yeah, which is rightfully so. Um, it's when you hear about stuff like that, like for another example is I haven't seen it yet, but the new Terrifier movie, there was a scene apparently in it that the guy that plays Art the Clown like almost threw up during the movie making.
Holy shit.
And so I'm sitting here just like, oh, you've piqued my interest
I
because
still haven't seen any of those movies.
Neither have I.
Terrifier, right?
they're on my honorable mentions list, but fucking this movie had just again unsettling scenes, um scenes that like if you're not watching that you'll miss it, like the part when I first watched it, um when I got my first smart TV for Christmas one year, I was like, I got to find a movie to christen this with, and I rented Hereditary on like the Samsung app or whatever,
Solid choice.
Yeah, and the scene where she's fucking crawling on the ceiling, but it's dead, it's silent, but you just if you're not watching it, you won't see her. But she just moves across the corner like this.
Dude. Yeah,
like
dude.
I had to rewind that and be like, wait, what the fuck was that?
I thought you were talking about the part when he like goes up into the attic and she's like on the attic and she's like banging her fucking head.
Oh yeah, no.
And he's like, and he's like on the top, like holding the thing down with his weight, and he's like, mommy, stop, dude, horrifying fucking movie.
Or when he's when the kid's in school and he's just banging his head on the desk or
He
whatever.
does the weird like,
oh my god,
dude, it's so good.
That's one of my favorite visual parts from that movie is
and his
that
face is all fucking twisted and shit.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Absolutely brutal. Filmed in Utah. That's another like fun fact or little claim
Beautiful.
to fame.
It's beautifully filmed. There's a beautiful shot of our mountains as they are lowering somebody into the ground.
Yep. Yeah, just a Midsummer is kind of like a visual horror. This one will just kind of like
this one will fuck you up, dude. Like I remember like this movie, I remember seeing this movie and just the uneasiness that just stayed in my chest throughout the entire movie.
Yep.
Especially like the part where the little girl gets decapitated. Like that part was like, I was like, no, they didn't. I was, you know what I mean? I was like,
hey,
no,
wait a minute.
They were like, I was like, oh, they killed off a kid. That's a thing that they did. Like, because as far as horror movies are concerned, sometimes they don't cross that line. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And kids is usually that line.
Yeah.
Kids is usually that line where you're
they're
like,
usually doing the killing, if anything.
Exactly right. Yeah, but like, and especially just like this kid that you felt for because she's like weird in a way, but you like you sympathize with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Billy Shapiro.
Yeah, and man, that movie's nuts, dude.
I'm really glad that it was not because you watched it for the first time with here at my house, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm just really glad that I didn't hype it up too much or like the hype
No.
didn't overdo it because bro, it's no secret. This is also my number 2. I adore this film. It is so fucking good. Are you done?
Absolutely. just lots of like just memorable horrific scenes. um Again, I can't reiterate enough why I put this in Midsummer on my list is because I watched these two movies and just went, that fucking did something to me, dude. Like
Yeah,
when she
dude.
cuts the head off the pigeon, you're just like, hello? Like,
Well, like decapitation is a very obvious and prominent piece of symbolism in the movie where,
oh
you
yeah.
know, and it's so like it's you can just go crazy with it if you wanted to and like go and see how deep he went, like Ari Aster and the writers, like how deep they went in terms of like placing this symbolism like everywhere and never really even focusing on it at all. Like the first time that I saw the movie, the telephone pole that does the decapitation, it has the cult's symbol like carved into the back of it. So
Yeah.
it's like there's a great level of depth that was put into everything in here that almost kind of makes it feel like it's even more of a roller coaster ride in the fact that you and the people involved, the family, are not in control at all. This
Yeah.
was all
No.
shit that was going on before, and this is all stuff that doesn't become apparent until the end of the movie. um I'll never forget watching this movie in the theater because it was that specific part where something horrific had just happened.
Right.
And I love the approach of not showing it because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, why the fuck if that just happened, if I'm in the driver's seat of this car and that just happened to me and my sister is in the back, I'm not fucking looking back at
Yeah.
that. I'm not doing that. And
No.
so and with Alex Wolf just so brilliantly act, just in a move of just pure acting brilliance, is sitting there and is just conveying every fucking emotion that you can possibly feel in that moment. And it just doesn't show it. It kind of gets close, like it kind of gets close to showing you in the rear view, but it's like, nah, no, 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 no. We have a way more horrific thing in store for you.
And
And
I
it
feel like
shows
that.
him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like that was like the best way. Like
Oh
I
my god, it's because it leads to this insane gut punch where you're driving home and it's like you're fucking holding it together to pretend like
Mhm.
everything is okay, and he just goes home and gets in bed. There's this horrific fucking shot of him like standing in the hallway while his mom is just fucking wailing, but he goes to bed, but he doesn't really go to bed. He's just laying there, and it cuts to nighttime. I love when the movie just cuts, like it's in the middle of the night, and it'll cut to day, like in a
Mhm.
snap, or and vice versa. It's little things like that, but it snaps to the morning, and it shows, or it doesn't show it. You can just hear it. You can hear Tony Collette waking up, getting ready, saying goodbye to the father and saying, I'll be right back, going outside, opening the car door and discovering this, and the wail, just the sound that comes out of Tony Collette's mouth. I'm disgusted that she got no recognition for this at all.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely no recognition whatsoever. And it really sucks because I have never seen grief portrayed that well, that raw, that so impactful, to the point where it is like really the only thing I think about when I think about Hereditary. I really only think of this scene because it is fucking seared into my brain. And
Oh,
that
absolutely.
thing, that thing that we love, that we like, it almost was like merciful. Like this thing, this horrific event that we mercifully did not show you. Now we're gonna hard cut to the head on the
Yeah.
side of the road, and it's not just decapitated; it's decaying and it's covered in bugs and ants, and it is horrific
Oh
in
yeah.
every way. And then the montage of like grief afterwards, and what makes Hereditary so fucking scary isn't all the like the goofy fucking the ghost spirit shit at the end of the movie. What makes this movie so fucking effective is because Ari Aster taps into grief so well, as if he
Oh,
is
yeah.
like so like he's just so enveloped in what it is to be like that level of like of losing someone or losing something
Just
so very
loss in
dear to you,
general.
and loss in general, but like in a family setting is it's immaculate. It's easily my most favorite attempt at modern horror. I don't think nothing really has even come close to topping it, in my opinion, including his other work. The one thing I was going to say about Midsummer was that like but the bar was so fucking impossibly high, dude. I walked out of Hereditary a different fucking person. Like it was I still remember that feeling of like, oh my god, this is a new feeling of feeling scared. And I went, the thing is I had to go to work that weekend, and at that time I was doing like a job where I was completely alone for like 4 hours at night.
Oh god.
And I was so fucked. There's like the specific another piece of horrific imagery is the decapitated head on top of the mannequin that's imitating the pose of the god. That shit is in my fucking head forever. And every time I turned around in a dark corner, I saw that fucking thing. You know, like it's amazing. I have net like it like completely revitalized horror for me, where it's like, holy shit, there's some people out here doing some really cool fucking shit and like
Yeah.
excellent art house horror shit. So I didn't mean to hijack your number two, but my number two is also Hereditary.
That's fine. I was gonna say the not to mention the part like, you know, after it happens when he gets home and just just goes inside and gets in bed. The whole time you're just like, hey, there's still a fucking body in that car, isn't there? Just like overnight, it's just in the back seat, you know. And for me, I was just like, dude, it's just sitting in there.
It's
which was crazy.
It's part of that, like that calming, like I guess we're just not going to show it, like, oh, that's like that's horrific, I'm so glad that we don't get to see it. And then it's like, no bitch, it's like the most literal representation of a media gut punch that I can even like. It is out of nowhere, it's completely out of context, and it's accompanied with a harrowing score from Colin Stetson. And I don't know, I could go on forever. Hereditary is fucking, it's like the closest thing, I think. And I know that there's people that are calling it overrated and blah 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 blah. But I think that it is as close to like a perfect horror movie that I think you could like really ever get, personally.
That's why it had such like an effect on me, because you know, I've seen countless horror movies, you know, where it's just kind of like, oh, you know, that's, you know, just some horror movie cookie cutter bullshit that we've seen before, you know. And it's like, oh, there's some cool like looking imagery in that movie, but like, and I had been saying like before I saw her, because Hereditary and then Midsummer came out, so Hereditary is first, and I had been saying before Hereditary came out, like, man, I want a movie to be made that affects me and that makes me react to it the way opposite the way I'm just reacting to these like normal, like,
yep,
you know, good horror movies that are good but not, you know,
yep,
satisfying that itch. And Hereditary did it, and then Midsummer came back a year later and did it again. And ever since, I feel like we haven't had one, in my opinion, that has got me like those two movies did.
I really have nothing bad to say about Midsummer. I just like Hereditary more.
That's why I mean, these are kind of numbered for me, but like I'm listing these specific 5 kind of trying to be in order. But
yeah,
Hereditary is definitely my choice of the 2.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Derek, number 2.
So my next one is a movie called The Changeling from
Oh
1980.
my fucking god, yes.
Like, I mean, not, you know, it's more of a ghost story, I guess, where this right off the bat, this dude loses his wife and kid in a car accident and basically like moves away just to get the fuck away from everything, right? And so he moves into this big old house and starts hearing like this random banging on pipes and all sorts of weird shit going on, and he has this little red rubber ball of his daughter's that he has, and he puts it like he's it's all got all this little stuff that happens, like, and this I actually used to fuck with my sister and her friend when we were kids, because what happens in the movie right here is he's sitting in a room adjacent to like the main foyer, and he's just playing the piano. He's a piano teacher or whatever, and so he's just practicing a piece on the piano, and then you hear this thunk, 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 and the ball comes down the stairs in that foyer, and he's like, what the fuck? Huh, all right, whatever. And he picks it up, and at the right against the wall, he has this little desk, and he opens up a little cubby thing and puts the ball in the cubby and starts walking away. And then you hear thunk, 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 and it comes down the stairs again. And like I like even just mentally reliving that scene, like it makes my hair like stand on end.
And
But
that's another one of those iconic things that whenever anything horror, ever anything like, I mean, even I think The Simpsons did it too, where the ball coming down the
Yeah,
stairs
it's
is
it's
just like
that it's where that trope came from.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's so crazy. Anyway, like I love this movie. I've always loved it. And I think I want to say this was when this was like I think I was like in eighth grade or so, and my family had moved up to Wyoming, and our main living room was in the basement, and we had like these wooden ass stairs that went down to the basement. And so I had told my sister, like, yo, I want you guys to watch this movie. It's so fucking good. And yada, yada, yada. So we're sitting there watching the movie. And like, as that scene is about to start, like, I get up and leave and go upstairs. And so the thing happens, and then the thing happens a second time. And like, when it happens the second time, I drop a ball down the stairs.
You diabolical motherfucker.
And these bitches come tearing upstairs. Like, it was it was amazing. It was the best thing
That's
ever.
great.
Anyway, so the whole point of the movie though is there's this wealthy guy in town, and the dude who had just bought this house, through sort of, instead of turning tail and running, he does the standard white person thing of, I'm going to investigate.
Right.
And so like he sort of starts figuring things out, and eventually learns that, like, hey, the person who originally owned this house had no wife or whatever, like she died, or I don't know, whatever the fuck. And he had a son that was like very frail, very sickly, and this is like, what, I don't know, the 20s, 40s or whatever, when mortality was like a big deal, at least a bigger deal. And he at one point takes his son to Europe for some sort of treatments or whatever, comes back, and lo and behold, he's in great condition, great health. And that kid grows up to be that wealthy dude in town. And spoiler, but through all of this stuff, I mean, it's from 1980. You should have watched it by now. Fuck off.
Wait, I haven't seen it yet.
Shut but anyway, so he finds out that what happened is that he had the dad, prior to leaving for this trip, had drowned his son in the bathtub and replaced him with a kid from Europe, or whatever. And or just replaced him in general. And then when he came back, the kid that he came back with was this replacement, and that he had like thrown him in a well or something. And so anyway, like it's basically the son's ghost calling out for vengeance and everything. And it's wild. It's so good though. I fucking love this movie. There is
Oh yeah.
one scene that I don't know if it was out of fright or, I mean, it's legitimately hilarious, but he the guy who had just bought the house goes up into this like crazy little attic, and there's a little boy's wheelchair in there, and
Yep.
he's standing there, and then all of a sudden the wheelchair just goes and then starts chase or no, it didn't start chasing him. It was the woman. There's like a woman that was from like the town that was sort of helping him look up records and shit. Anyway, it flips around and starts chasing her. Like it chases her down the stairs from the attic and down the hallway and down some more stairs where she eventually trips and falls into the foyer, and then the wheelchair just, you know, falls down and comes to rest by her. But like that scene had me laughing so hard. It was just it was hilarious. I don't know, like it, I mean, it was wild. It was scary, like because all of a sudden you're like, whoa, and then it just chases her, and that whole chase scene, I just couldn't stop laughing. But anyway, so
Nice.
yeah, that's it. That's my two.
All right. My number two is just all of the It movies put together. I feel like it, it there's just that body horror that we were talking about when you were talking about it. Um, the fact that it was kids that they
Mhm.
were that the clowns in both movies
Oh yeah.
were terrorizing was like another like feeling of it. Both Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård, I mean, knock it out of the park. Both of those guys really did uh, a service to that character. Just to see, a Stephen King character come to life
Mhm.
is is insane.
Unsettling.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Very unsettling.
Bill Skarsgård is a little bit of a cheater though, because he has this thing with his eyes where like
He's a
because
cheater because he's talented.
hey, no, I'm just saying, like, it's kind of cool. Like, he didn't, like, he has this weird things with his eyes where he, like, can kind of like make one
Yeah.
eye just sort of drift off.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like, and that was something they used in the movie, but like, you assume it's CGI or whatever. And same thing with the way that he can hold his mouth. Like it's so weird and creepy,
Mhm.
and it's just fucking perfect for something like that.
For
Like,
Oh yeah.
Pennywise.
yeah, like they
One
could
of
not
the
have picked someone better.
the like in the second modern It movie, when he like opens his mouth and there's just like a row of teeth, and that's how he like hypnotizes people. When he hypnotized Bill Hader,
Hmm.
and he was just like fucking glowing eyes, his mouth was
Yeah.
like drooping lower than it usually does, and he's just fucking just looking crazy as shit. I mean, those movies, all of them, all of the It movies were incredible. I feel like they are the pinnacle of what you think of when you bring up any kind of like horror or scary movie. Um, a lot of people's inherent fears of clowns came from watching this movie, man. Like I remember being a kid, be like, yeah, man, when I saw that movie, It, man, now I'm afraid of clowns. You know what I mean? Like it's always been that
I wasn't before, but now I am.
Well,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
there's just that deeper theme too of the things that you go through as a kid. You may not be directly confronted with it every day, but something like that comes back, and you're right back there mentally and emotionally
Oh yeah,
as
yep.
a kid. Like it doesn't go away. Like it just hits you, and there's
Hmm.
nothing you can do about it. Like you're basically back to being that helpless child.
Absolutely, absolutely. So those are my number twos. Before we head into number ones, I'd like to get our honorable mentions out of the way. So we'll just kind of spitfire the honorable mentions and then
Yeah,
head over to our number one.
I got kind of a list.
So Nick, what are your honorable mentions?
These aren't in any order, but the first one I have. Do you want us to go through each one, or are we gonna
Let's
Not
just
yet.
each of us say one. Like
Okay.
I think. No? Or what do you think?
No, just go down
Rapid
your
fire.
Oh,
list.
Okay.
just go down.
Just
Okay.
rapid fire, get it all.
Yeah, just no time to really get into them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Kinda,
No, I just mean like Nick says his, Cole says his, I say mine.
Oh,
you
no.
say-
No.
no. Okay.
No,
I mean, it's
So-
just titles. Who cares?
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
go ahead.
My honorable mentions list is as follows: Fatal Attraction. I saw that
Hell
movie
yeah.
when I was a kid, and it's disturbing.
Horny.
Darkness Falls.
Love
Anybody
that
see
movie.
that? Yeah. Just the Halloween franchise, except for the new one that they came out with. That was a pile of dog shit.
The new trilogy.
No, the last Halloween movie they made.
Just the last one was bad.
It was so fucking awful. It was so bad. The Faculty,
Mm.
old banger. Movie called Skinamarink.
Dude,
I've heard of it, never seen it.
I've heard very conflicting things about that movie.
It's on. I saw it on Hulu. It's like a single camera horror movie with just sounds.
With a budget of like $5,000.
Yeah. Trick or Treat is one of my favorite classic movies.
Essential Halloween movie.
The Descent.
Love that fucking movie.
And then this was actually tied with my number one, but I chose my number one to keep my theme. But It Follows.
It Follows fucking
that's a good one, yeah.
rules.
The Thin Man. Unforgettable imagery in that movie.
Are you talking about when she's like opens the door and she's like, "What are you looking at?" And this fucking guy just emerges. Yeah, underrated,
because
super underrated.
Nobody else can see him. So when he's fucking with her, nobody else can see it happen. That was one of my favorite movies. But those are my honorable mentions.
Cool. Cole?
I really have one. It is the best
What a
video game
loser.
adaptation that has ever existed, which is 2006's Silent Hill. I
Oh.
love that movie. It's endlessly
good one.
nostalgic for me. It's actually my first foray into Silent Hill anything. I never played the games. I never did anything Silent Hill until I watched this movie.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll save it for a little bit later just because I kind of want to do a thing on it. I think it is dummy underrated. I think it is. And it's like held down by its really shitty sequel.
Yeah.
Like in it really really sucks. And I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with this new one that's directed by the same guy that did 2006, and it is apparently going to be 100% based off of Silent Hill 2. So very big ups. And especially I don't are any of you playing Silent Hill 2 remake?
Well, I'm gonna see if I can, buy it with some of this money I'm getting. We'll see.
I'm thinking probably number 2.
I'm gonna buy it on disc just to spite you.
It's stupid fucking good. It like blooper fucking nailed it. But this isn't a pod. It's not an episode about Silent Hill. So
Derek?
No,
No?
make it worth my while. I'm just kidding.
Derek
so-
will no longer be on the podcast.
You can't make me. Let's see. So I'm gonna throw one honorable mention as the slashers, Nightmare on Elm, Friday the 13th, all that good shit. I want to go with 13 Ghosts. Definitely one of them. I mean, I fucking love anything Matthew Lillard. So and with that in mind, Scooby-Doo. Um,
Fits.
um, you got to have Poltergeist in there. God, I can't think of what else. I know I had a couple others, but we'll call it there. I think that's a pretty decent little list.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Mine are Hereditary and Midsummer. Those movies really just know how to make you feel like shit.
Yeah.
You know. George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. The very first, foray into
Classic.
zombies that I ever saw, I ever got into. It's what got me enamored with zombie anything.
Yeah.
Which,
You
and
ever
then
watch
those-
28 Days Later?
I did.
Mm.
Mhm.
What'd you think
That's
of that?
one. I like that one too.
That
And
movie
then
rocks.
and then we took zombies and we beat them with a dead fucking horse.
I don't give a fuck.
With
man.
a
I'll
dead
ride
horse
that
or
dead
like a dead horse?
Like a dead
We
horse
just, we
with
just
a
picked
dead
up
horse.
a big ass horse and
We
fucking
picked up
zombies.
a horse and we beat the dead horse with a dead horse.
Also, I also put 13 Ghosts in there. It's the same feeling with Ghost Ship. It was just being like, oh man, that's badass. That's really cool. I really enjoy that kind of thing. First horror movie I ever jerked off to was The Species.
Nice. Nice.
That makes
nice.
sense. That makes complete sense. Absolutely.
Wild thing to say, brother.
What was the last one you jerked off to?
No, Species.
Oh,
Species again.
I totally forgot about that movie, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Crazies.
Yes.
I don't know if
Dude,
you
the
guys ever
Crazies
seen
rocks.
Yeah, the Crazies was a dope one. Tusk,
Yeah.
Kevin Smith foray into horror.
Still haven't seen it.
That's so crazy. Like it's not a good movie in any
Brother,
sense
you
of the
beat
word.
off to this movie. That's fucking insane.
Isn't
I'm looking at
bro,
some of the imagery.
bro, I was like what 12, 13 when that movie came out. Dude, I was
Tusk.
peak.
Tusk was actually the last movie I beat off to.
Touching my tusk.
I'll have to piggyback off of Derek and say the slashers as well. The Conjuring series.
I did forget that one.
And
Dude, the Conjuring 2 with the fucking guy.
Mhm.
Oh my lord. Yeah, that was brutal.
Like
And,
the only problem I have with those though is I get all annoyed at the couple because I'm like, you fucking charlatans,
yeah,
like the whole time.
Well,
And
the couple, they really were like pieces of shit. So
no, exactly, yeah, and it bothers me every time I watch it. I'm like, God damn grifters.
and
man.
guys are counterfeit as fuck. I hate you.
This isn't even real.
And my final mention is The Devil's Backbone. There's a little kid whose dad dies in the war. This is like the 30s, 40s. He goes to an orphanage, and the orphanage just has like all these like secrets, and it just like all of this crazy secrecy to it, but it's haunted. And there's this there's like an old missile that was dropped on that area but didn't blow up, so the missile just kind of stays there because they can't really like do anything with it. The orphanage is
On weird science.
yeah,
And then they formed the Church of the Atom and they
Right.
worship the
right. It's an early 2000s movie from
I've never heard of
Spain,
it.
so it's completely in Spanish, but it's one of my favorite things to watch. Yeah, those are honorable mentions. Let's go ahead and finish this off with our number one picks. Nick, go ahead.
My number one pick is The Happening. Just kidding. Not really. That was a terrible movie. That was a terrible movie.
Mine is The Village.
The
No,
Happening is the one with the shot of the people like jumping off the building, and
Yeah,
but it
it's
was
got
there was like
Mark
like
Wahlberg and
dozens of
John
people on top
Leguizamo.
of a building, and they like
No,
They all just kind of fell
I
off.
was watching a Watch Mojo video of like the top 30 like scariest horror villains, and as a joke they put the plants in The Happening. We're just gonna use the bathroom and then we're gonna get out of here.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Yeah. No, I have probably brought this up a lot of times when we're talking about horror movies. Dead Alive, easily. This is my number one favorite horror movie. It's not even a horror movie; it's a B horror movie. Um, Directed by the one and only Peter Jackson.
Nice.
How this is an old movie, isn't it? I don't remember what year it came out, but let's see. 92.
Dang.
This movie came out in 92. Basically, I don't even need IMDb to like synopsis this movie, but basically, I think it takes place in New Zealand or Australia.
Peter Jackson.
I think it's New Zealand, and this this guy he's caring for his elderly mother. He decides one day to take her to the zoo. So they're looking at all the animals or whatever. Then they come across this exhibit of the Sumatran rat monkey.
that's got to be racist.
The Sumatran rat monkey ends up biting his mom. And
is it the monkey from Outbreak? It sounds like it's the monkey from Outbreak.
It's the Sumatran rat monkey. No, but the mom ends up getting bit. So, you know, they leave the zoo. He takes her home and he's caring for her. And then the bite from the rat monkey actually causes her to become infected. And so he's all this time he's hiding her like in the basement. So they live in this giant mansion, you know, it's like this old mansion. And he calls the priest to come over, which is where my intro line came from, because he's walking through the cemetery and all these, you know, zombies are crawling up through the ground, and he jumps up on the gravestone and just goes, "I kick ass for the Lord," and just starts like fighting these zombies. Eventually he gets bit, and eventually like his mom keeps turning people that come to help or whatever. So he's keeping all of these zombies like hidden in his basement, like just to prevent anybody from knowing what's going, which is something that I would do. Like
Right?
I'd just be like, no, we can handle this, you know.
It just gets more and more chaotic, and you're like, God damn it.
The mom and the priest zombie end up having sex, and they make a zombie baby.
This is called Dead Alive.
Dead Alive.
I'm gonna have to watch this.
There's a really, really like, it's all just over the top gore, like dumb, stupid gore. There's a scene where he's trying to feed the zombies, you know, like they're all sitting around the table just like, ugh. And one of them has like this blister that pops on their face and shoots out like into the soup, and then like the mom eats it.
Oh no.
But eventually she like ends up morphing into this giant fucking like Resident Evil type monster.
Oh shit.
And there's all these zombies that are running around, and he's trying to slay them, and he ends up getting a lawnmower and like flips it up so that he's got the blade, and he's just running through zombies. And one of my favorite scenes from this movie is when he's doing this and all this blood is everywhere, and he turns around and he starts like comically slipping on the blood, like it's like a patch of ice. Like it's I fucking love this movie so much, and it's yeah, it's not even considered a horror movie, but I had to drop that at my number one because it's just so fucking phenomenal.
Hey, it works, man. It works.
Yeah.
Cole, number one.
For the worst kept anticipation reveal ever. It's 1979's Ridley Scott's Alien.
Of course.
It's amazing. I've talked ad nauseum about it. I love everything about it. What's funny is that recently I've been developing this negativity towards Aliens, the follow up, James Cameron's Aliens, and the more that I find out about that movie, the more I don't like it.
Like, what do you
Really?
mean?
For example, the fact that James Cameron is so fucking egotistical and such a fucking piece of shit that he didn't even want to involve H.R. Geiger at all because he's like, for some reason there was like a slight amount of creative differences, and he's like, okay, well then we just won't use you at all, and it's like that's fucking weird. And so it's like it's just James Cameron being James Cameron, and I know that that's just kind of like the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
But I don't know. And also I fucking hate the decisions that he made with Aliens. I don't like the inclusion of a queen. I don't like the in how she like lays the eggs and all that shit. I hate it. I hate the way that it like plays with the canon. I'm really pissing people off right now. Anybody that like actually gives a fuck about that movie, dude. Aliens is so revered, is such a like a beloved classic movie, and I think it's just because it has that fucking James Cameron panache behind it, where it's like it kind of robbed the movie of like everything that made it really scary to begin with.
Mhm.
Like I think that like turning the xenomorph into like a bug-like creature was like the worst fucking possible thing that we did to the xenomorph personally, just because it's not what makes it fucking scary. It's not that
Yeah.
it doesn't come from fucking xeno planet in the fucking xeno, like it's like the fact that it is man-made, or kind of man-made, and like but plays off of like the biological aspect of it, and that's what makes Alien scary to me, is the fact that like, and its ties to like motherhood and stuff like that. That's the only way that I stomach. I'm being really mean to Aliens, but like I just like, it's the only way that like I like justify it, because like there are like, it does kind of play with the themes a little bit here and there, but I hate the fact that he just like took it, and now that's what everyone wants from an Alien movie now, and I
Right.
fucking hate that. I hate the fact that we want to go down this schlocky action movie route with one of the coolest fucking horror movie monsters like ever in my opinion. I just and so when Ridley Scott came back and was like, hey, I want to do Prometheus and I want to do Covenant and all this stuff, I'm like, hey, that's really cool. And I felt like he really doubles down on the shit that he was trying to say with
Yeah.
Alien, and a lot of people really don't like that, like really don't like the fact that like it focuses so heavy on like creationism and stuff like that, like and it like ties into like like we're trying to answer the question of like, where do we come from and stuff. Like it doesn't, I guess it doesn't really fuck with people the way that I fuck with it, I guess. I don't know, it just seems weird to me. Like I think Prometheus is, and I've said it before, and I'll continue to be redundant. It's one of the most underrated films of the entire franchise. Like it is so stupid good in what it does and like how it sets everything up. And I will agree with a lot of people. Covenant wasn't the strongest movie. It kind of falters here and there. It's very obviously like Fox was in there like, well, we gotta throw a xenomorph in there. Well, yeah, people are gonna go see an Alien movie, they've got to see the fucking xenomorph. Like and so they like haphazardly like, just like stick it in there, and it's like, and it, I don't know, it's an Alien movie, so it's got to have a xenomorph, of course, but like just
It'd
the
be
way
great if
that
it
like
was
they
just a hand
implemented it,
puppet.
just it felt very like executive, like, hey, put the fucking xenomorph in the movie already. Like it, like they didn't want to just like let the guy cook. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I personally feel like Covenant was like half of, whatever the fuck he was going to do in the third movie, and like it was like really going to set up for that. But I digress, and I'll get out of my huge diatribe here. But
why was your executive voice? Why did it sound like James Stewart, the homeboy from fucking It's a Wonderful Life?
have a xenomorph in there, Jimmy.
I'm just like I was just really channeling my out of touch, like, hey, this is the only reason, like, this is the only fucking reason why people are gonna go see an alien movie is so they can see a xenomorph kill somebody. And it's like, that's so fucking shallow and sad that's like all you get from the movie is that, like, that, and that's exactly what the fuck James Cameron did with the fucking Aliens movie. Anyways, I love that movie. I love all of them, even Alien 4. It's one of the most horrific movies, stupid bad movies that I've ever seen in my life. But it's in the camp of so bad it's kind of good.
It's good. Yeah.
And then to end, I just wanted to reveal something to y'all. I had some work done.
That's fucking rad.
Nice.
That's that's dedication right there.
Dude, that blade right there fucking hurt. But shout out Bridger James at Surreal Inc. He fucking killed it and super professional. I loved it. So yeah, 1979's Alien. If you haven't seen it yet, why not, bitch?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Ho. Derek, number one.
So again, like Nick was saying earlier, sticking with my theme, my number one, because it's I mean, I guess this is probably one of the more known of the lesser known horror movies. I gotta go with Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Nice.
I mean,
I don't know what to tell you, officer. These kids just started killing themselves on my lawn.
These
came onto my
kids
property.
Just started killing themselves on our property.
I mean, come on. Tyler Labine. I fucking love Tyler Labine so much. And Alan Tudyk, like, come on, it doesn't get better than that. Like those two together, yes, absolutely. And like, yeah, it's and of course you've got your nice little twist as well, with what the kids are doing there, and like it's so funny. Like it's a fantastic movie, and just these poor country boys' bewilderment the entire movie. Like, what is happening? Like it's just phenomenal. I love that ever so slight turning of the genre that these scary hillbillies are just the most down-to-earth nice guys. It's got nothing to do with them. Like, it's amazing. It's just perfect.
Very cool. Very cool. My number one is 2004's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Remake of the 1978 Dawn of the Dead. This is a movie I always come back to. Like anytime I feel like I want to watch like a cool zombie movie or whatever, I come to this one. And it's just one of those movies that blends humor and horror really well. Like, and I mean that in the sense of when it's supposed to be funny, it's funny, and when it's supposed to be scary and like horrific, it is.
Yeah.
I actually felt that urgency. This was one of those first movies that I saw, because I didn't end up seeing 28 Days Later until after I saw Dawn of the Dead. But this was one of those movies that actually made me feel like there was a big catastrophe happening all around the world. You know, it was the like body horror was really cool. The zombie killing and the humorous moments. This one also comes with a banger soundtrack. I mean, who can ever forget Dick Cheese's "Down with the Sickness"?
Oh wow!
You know, like,
Jesus,
Dick Cheese,
Richard Cheese.
That's his name.
His name is. No, it is not.
Yeah.
No, it is not. You're making that up. No,
dude,
it's not. His name is Richard.
I mean,
Cheese.
he probably made that up.
He does.
Yeah, like
he does. Like old, like
the
Vegas style jazz lounge covers of like songs, and that's in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and his name is Richard Cheese, but
You
everybody
mother, get up. Come on, get down with the
Dick
sickness.
Cheese.
You
everyone
fucker,
calls
get
him
up.
Dick Cheese. Yeah.
Dude, that like the most insane fucking lip piercing of all time, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, the guy from Disturbed. Yeah, this movie, and it also brings me like a familial nostalgia to it, because like these were movies that I watched with my uncles and my aunt, like these were the movies that I ended up watching with my kids later on, because they were like, well, we want to see zombie movies, and I'm like, let me show you one.
There are two lines in that movie that are seared into my brain, delivered by the fantastic Ty Burrell, who's in that movie.
Yes, Ty Burrell is the best part of that movie for me.
Hey, fellas, when you two are done blowing each other, or he's when they're, I can't remember what the lead up is, but he goes, "Yeah, why don't we just all meet up and sail away on my yacht, you jackasses?"
That movie is incredible, and I mean, what a ragtag group of people too. Like, I mean, Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames, Mackay Pfeiffer, Ty Burrell, Jake Weaver. Like, I mean, these are people that you just kind of don't see meshed with each other. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which made that element of survivability like even more like potent, I think. It was one of the, because it's just like, man, these really are just random ass people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nurse, a policeman, a couple. It's one of the coolest zombie movies that I've ever seen. It's one of the movies that if anyone's like, hey, you want to watch Dawn of the Dead? I'm gonna be like, yeah, for
Of
real.
course.
So
I mean, I do have to say though, Army of the Dead fucking sucked.
Army of the Dead sucked balls. The one with Batista, is that the one you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, that movie sucked dick. Like,
So
I
make
mean,
sure if anyone brings it up, you're like, just be like, wait, you said Dawn of the Dead, right? Not Army of the Dead. Okay.
that movie was so ass.
Is
I
that the
felt
one
So-
where they? Is that the one where they replaced Chris D'Elia with Tig Notaro at the end because of his?
yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't
Oh
great.
no, see, that's the thing. It was entertaining for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The fucking zombie tiger or whatever the fuck it was.
Who
That shit
directed
was
it?
shit. I don't know.
so
It's Man of
stupid.
Steel.
Snyder.
Was it a
Snyder.
Zack Snyder
It's
movie?
Snyder. Yeah, it's Zack Snyder.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Right?
Yeah,
That makes so much sense.
that's a Schneider
is.
film, dude.
It is a Zack Snyder film.
And
He-
Zack Snyder
he-
is a shoe.
He even wrote it. The son of a
Mhm.
bitch.
Yeah.
He doubled down on the fuckery.
That motherfucker thought the dopest shit. I mean, and
Well,
it's
no
crazy.
wonder, and no wonder he can't pick a good writer to save his life. He doesn't know what good writing fucking is.
Right?
Yeah.
What
He
a
doesn't.
piece of shit. That motherfucker. I mean, and like I said, I'm with you, Nick. Like, I didn't hate it, but I like it was a bad movie.
Yeah, it was not a good movie, but it was like it's worth a watch at least, I
It
think.
serves its purpose.
Yeah.
Definitely serves its purpose. But yeah, that's my number one. And with that, we come to a close to our 5 favorite horror, scary, B horror, whatever this was. As always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at Nerdcore Podcast.
You don't learn, bro.
What?
Elon's
get
gonna
mad
come
at-
after you.
Oh, fuck him, dude. Dude, he's like, bro, he's been bugging the shit out of me lately. Like, really bad, dude.
Have you seen those? Have you seen those Optimus robots?
Yeah.
Probably break after 2 days.
Yeah, I
There's this-
can't wait. I can't wait to find the discourse with those fucking things. Like,
I
once
can't
they become
remember-
like available to people. Fuck you,
Nick-
tweet Elon. I'm never calling it fucking X. Suck
Who's
my dick.
who's the rapper that is buying one of those robots already? It was I saw a video of it and he's like talking to the Optimus robot. He's like, I'm gonna order you. I'll see you soon. Like some rapper is like already on the bandwagon. I don't know.
Thanks.
Some
$20,
people
$30
just
for a robot.
yeah, some people just have to just burn all their money.
30,000 is what I meant. $20 to $30,000 for a fucking robot, dude. That's a car.
Is it like is it supposed to be like a butler or
Mhm.
like a tool?
Bro, we're entering the Detroit Become Human era.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, I
dude.
mean,
Seriously.
that's about how much I would think that you would probably pay for a robotic assistant like that. I mean, if we're talking like plausible for like people like you and I, like,
Mhm.
and this thing is not like obscenely expensive, like yeah, I would say 20-30K.
Or you can shoot us an email at nerdcorppodcast@gmail.com.
And since you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification. We want to get into as many nerdy ears as possible, and that's how you help us do that. If you love us and want to support what we do, consider supporting us on PayPal, paypal.me/nerdcore podcast. We want to give you the best loot, give you the best giveaways, and give you the best nerdy experience, and that is the best way to do that. So from all of us here at the Nerd Corporation, we thank you, we love you, keep it nerdy, y'all.
Bye bye.
Bye. Why are you smiling like that?
I don't know.